let's get the meeting started. Robin's here, and I think we have a full. The board is all here. I appreciate that very much, guys. You're taking time out of your busy schedule to participate in this meeting. So, so regard the minutes of the last meeting, were there any questions or issues that anybody wanted to raise about that, or had?
No.
All right, then let's consider them approved as written. Thank you, Alex, as always.
You're very well.
Any modifications to the agenda that anybody wants to bring up? You should all have that. Okay, then let's go ahead.
Bill?
Yes.
This is Kurt.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I said anything to you about the City of Destiny Festival for today.
I sort of remember that a little bit, but
Okay.
you
New
want to
business.
mention that or something?
New business. It's fine.
Okay.
The other thing, Bill, I sent you a brief note about the Boeing swap meet.
Yeah, I'll mention it under new business.
Thank you.
All right, Bill, as long as all these guys are telling you about this stuff, would you please send it to me so I can put it in What's Up and Hotbox?
Sure. Always, Jack. Okay, I don't really have anything to report of anything. So, I mean, you guys are doing a great job. We've got a lot of material to cover. Let's go ahead to Bob. I know Bob has a short report. Bob Kenworthy.
Yeah, just kind of three things been going on in the last month or so. Met with both Bill and Al Lowe to kind of get a handle on what the expectations are for the assistant superintendent. Also met with Russ Segner. We went down to the Tacoma Convention Center and looked at the facilities for the possible national convention in 26 or 27, whenever that works out. And then Kurt and I went down to Olympia last night to kind of observe their hybrid clinic. We're looking at trying to get a hybrid clinic going in Tacoma rather than just the monthly Zooms. So that's kind of what I've been up to.
Okay. And welcome aboard. Bob's official now as of the 1st of September, beginning of his two-year term. Appreciate Bob. I know he's going to do a great job and brings a wealth of good experience that we can use on the board. So thank you, Bob. And as Bob mentioned to at least most of us, he's going to have to depart midway through the meeting, but I guess we'll track him by phone on his journey north. Hopefully he's accident-free. Okay, probably a bulk of the meeting today with Robin. As usual, Robin's always a source of lots of interesting, good stuff. So, Robin, go ahead with your report and the issues you wanted to raise.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, hopefully this won't take too long. So I actually made a list of about 4 things. I did include a copy of my treasurer's report in the email thread for the meeting, so you should have seen that. I tried to follow this consistent format for anybody who's new to the meeting. So good news, I guess, is our financial year ends at the end of June. So this is the first board meeting since our financial year ended. And I can't say we made a profit, because we're a not-for-profit, right? But we made an excess of income over expenditure. You can look in a thesaurus and figure out what that means, right? Of about $14,000, which is actually quite a lot of money considering our budget was, our overall budget was less than that. So there's a few reasons for that. And I listed them on here, but due to all the great work on the P&R convention, you know, we actually did get unanticipated income is my best way of describing that from the P&R convention of about $8,200. We got a lot of donations, about $5,000 worth of donations, and some of our expenses were lower. In our budget, the HR Modular Group had budgeted for a lot of stuff and they didn't spend it, to almost $2,000. So all of those added up that we were actually $14,500 or $15,000 under budget for the year, which is good. So what I did highlight on this report here, a few places in yellow, you can probably see I've got something in yellow here, is that's great, but so what do we as a group want to do with the fact that we've got extra money? I can stash it away, put it in a CD, whatever, but I think we probably want to be using it to meet the goals of the organization. So my suggestion to Bill a few weeks ago was, I think last week, was maybe the board should have some kind of short retreat, probably virtually, for maybe just an hour or so, just to bounce around any ideas we may have about, do we want to expand our activities if we're going to continue in this post-COVID world to have significant extra income, so not spending as much in-person stuff? Do we want to have a better program of how we want to spend that? I don't know what it is, but I think it'd be good if the board itself got together and bounced around some ideas on that. So that's my question number one. Do we want to do that? And we can maybe
Let's bring that
under,
up specifically under new business. And I've
yes,
got
I
a
was going to
note
suggest
here,
that.
make a decision on that. Go ahead, Robin.
Good. So the other two things are probably relatively straightforward. The first is after discussion amongst the board members and your approval, I realized that we had a lot of money on a savings account, about $38,000, which was earning 0.01% interest, which is basically nothing. So I went down to Chase Bank and with the board's approval and opened a CD, a 6-month CD for that, which is giving us right now 4%. That may go up, and put $25,000 into that. What that does mean is each year that will generate almost it will generate $1,000, just over actually, because it's every 6 months, which is a significant portion of our budget. Like I think I calculated about 6 or 7% of our budget. So I've gone ahead and done that. And if anyone's actually looked at my financial reports, I know you all eagerly await seeing these, you will see that there is actually on the balance sheet now, that CD shows up on a balance sheet with $25,000 in it at Chase Bank. So we have actually done that. If I sent you the right balance sheet, which I didn't, I sent you last year's balance sheet. But anyway, so we do actually have that in the bank. Two other items which are probably a little bit more interesting. At the last meeting, Bill asked me to talk to the different modular groups about having some clarity on what we do with show income, and particularly it was in relation to the Washington State Historical Museum in Tacoma, where I think a couple of modular groups attended. We got a reasonable amount of income. And what do we actually do with that? Do we allocate that to 4D or all to the modular groups or something in between? And I suggested a compromise to the leaders of the various modular groups, which they agreed to, which is, I summarized it on my report. But fundamentally, if we do get show income like that, 4D should retain 50% of it to fund the stuff we do, like maintaining the trails and blah, blah, blah. The other 50% should be split between the participating modular groups. If an arbitrary compromise should have been 50% or 25% or 75%, 50% just seems somewhere in the middle. And as far as I recall, each of those modular groups involved agreed to that proposal. So that will be the strategy moving forward. So that was an action I was given at the last board meeting. I don't think there's anything needed to approve that. It's more of a policy for the treasurer to follow.
I think I would feel a lot more comfortable if we had a motion that did, because this is a material change or material event for the modular groups. I would encourage a motion and the board to act on that motion to make this policy for the 4th Division and the modular groups. Is there a motion? Do you guys have a copy in front of you or do you want to read it, Robin?
I would propose a motion that we accept the suggestion, which I actually have in detail on my treasurer's report at the top of page 2, so Alex can actually see that. I would propose that we accept that as our policy moving forward. And if you want me to read it to you, I can. It's very exciting. It won't take me like.
Why don't you summarize it? But Alex is going to need it or need something specific.
He can take it directly from here. He can cut and paste it directly from my treasurer's report.
You got that, Alex?
Hey, Robin, is that the exact wording that you want to be in the motion?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. And it fundamentally says what I said, and with a bit of preamble, that the income from the WSHM in 22 and 23 and future years shows will be split 50-50 between 4D and the participating modular groups. For example, this I'd immediately 3200 balance, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what it says, really what I just explained to you.
Before we have discussion, is there a second to that motion?
I
Second.
second.
Okay,
I'll
there's a
second.
second discussion. Kurt?
Yeah, Robin, does this take the place of the policy that's been around for some time that Mike Donnelly said that the modular groups can only have X number of dollars in their accounts, and then anything over that gets dumped into the 4D treasury for general funding?
So actually, it just perpetuates that. It actually explicitly states at the bottom that previously cap was placed on each group's liability account at $5,000 to prevent balances growing too large. And it's proposed that this cap be maintained going forward. So there is an upper cap on how much the modular groups can accumulate. If they're not spending it, what's the point, right? So so that is actually included in that text, which Alex has.
The motion is specific to the Washington State History Museum show and nothing else.
This was...
Unless you make it more generic. That's the way the motion reads.
It is, and I'd like to leave it like that for now, because I think when
just fine.
and if we want to do something similar for if something else comes up, fine, we can do a deal with that on a as needed basis.
Okay, so it's nothing to do with the cap. Any other discussion on the motion? No. Okay, although board members, please signify by raising your hand if you approve this motion. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's approved unanimously. Thank you, Robin. And let's go on to your other item.
I have one last one to do here. So something which has been going on in the background, which Bill is aware of, I'm not sure anybody else is that the local chapter of the European Train Enthusiasts organization is actually present with us today, both Magnus, who I think you all know, and Chris, who's on the call. Where have you gone, Chris? You're in here somewhere. I saw your head a minute ago. I think Chris is here too, who's the, I think the chair of the local chapter of that. They are building some nice modular, modules, a lot of them using Magnus's new idea of using aluminium or even aluminum and some kind of composite boards to make really lightweight modules. They are in need of a trailer to move this stuff around to various shows, and they do have a schedule of shows. In parallel to that, I've been talking to Ed Ives. We do have a trailer becoming spare, trailer number 6, which was the high railers storage trailer, is slowly being emptied. It's a big one, 7 by 16 feet. And if any of you guys don't know, 4D does own 5 trailers, each one allocated to a different modular group. So we do have 5 trailers. So it struck me that that trailer could be something that the European train enthusiasts could use. So there's a couple of ways that that could happen, and I don't think we've decided what that will be yet. But I just want to introduce you to this and maybe start some discussion. One is that they could buy it from us if it's truly spare, if we can agree a price. That's probably not too hard to figure out a valuation for it. Or the other option is they could become another of our official 4D modular groups, like a European NHO, European train enthusiast modular groups, which would give them the benefit of we pay their mileage, we pay the maintenance of the trailer, they don't need to buy the stupid thing, and so on. But it does require that they, it would require that they be, that group be 100% NMRA members, which I'm not sure they are right now. And that's a question I've left to them to figure out. If we want to pursue this, which avenue should they follow? So I'll invite Magnus or Chris if you're on the call, Chris Woodruff if you're on the call. Does that summarize the situation pretty well? And is there anything you guys would like to add?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. And we do need a trailer desperately. We are a growing modular group. We have 35 members in the Northwest chapter of European Train Enthusiasts, and of the 35, 20 are in the modular group, and that's about a 50% increase above where we were a year ago. So we're gaining new members, and there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement right now about the direction the modular group. You know, as I said, I'm a new member of NMRA. Magnus exposed me. I had no idea there was even a 4th division, or didn't know anything about it. And Magnus kindly invited me to sit in on a couple things at the May convention that you had here in Tacoma, and I was blown away. I was amazed at what you guys are doing, and I think there's a lot of synergy in what you're doing that could translate over to what we're doing. And I would like to see all of our 35 members become NMRA members. Now, realistically, I don't know how quickly that'll happen, but we are encouraging it. I know that we have people joining kind of as we speak, if you will, time-wise. So I think we're going to get there at some point. It's going to be a process, but I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I'd like to see us become more involved with NMRA and what you guys are doing. We are a SIG. ETE is a SIG of NMRA.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I appreciate you guys considering this request, and I thank you, Robin, for letting us know that there might be an opportunity to get this trailer, depending on what you guys decide. So,
Chris, let me ask you a question. Is the group proposing that they would buy the trailer from 4th Division? Or
you know, I think right now that would be our best option, quite frankly. So our modular group is 20 people. Of the 20, I would say somewhere less than 10 are NMRA members. And again, I think we're going to get there having all 20 be NMRA members, but it may take us a little while. So
you know, 10 NMRA members would cost you about $700. The trailer's 6,000. I'm just thinking financially.
Yeah, and the trailer's value is probably half that.
Talk that over, or what? You know, but I mean, if you want to buy it, well, anyway. But you're proposing right now you'd buy it.
Well, we think that might be the best option. I'd be happy to circle back with Magnus and our other 2 leaders of our chapter and look at options. But I'm all in favor of us moving towards the NMRA membership aspect.
Russ, let me ask you a question, because you've been here through the creation and development of the modular groups a lot longer than I have, but there's no magic number about how big that group has to be. It could be 10, it could be 8, it could be 20, it could be 50, right? That they all have to be, all the members have to be of the group, have to be NMRA members, correct?
That's stated as the goal, yes, as the policy.
Yeah, okay. So then it would seem to me that if the group, Chris, said, well, we're going to constitute as an affiliate of 4th Division, and there are 10 of us who are NMRA members, and we're going to try to recruit others. There's nothing, you know, you can do that. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't participate if you're not, but the group has to be all NMRA members. You want to think about that a little bit? Do you follow me?
I do, and yes, we'd appreciate that. So we will think about that. But
okay.
And that was going to be my suggestion as a conclusion for today. Is I don't think there's any big decision. Hey, you can buy it for $2,000. I think the answer is I wanted to make you guys aware that this is happening. I think to my earlier point that 4D has some surplus funds, and we want to expand our activities, and we'll have a separate off-site or whatever you want to call it for that. I think it's a part of that, but I think it's a great way to expand in a new underserved space with some new people. So my suggestion then is table this for now, but I'll continue my discussions with Magnus and Chris, and if we can figure out a way that this modular section that is very, very close to 100% MRA, that's clearly the most cost-effective way to go. But it's your guys' choice right now. I don't propose finalizing or having an answer to that right now today.
Yeah, I think the issue will be that we need a trailer very quickly. We have a show coming up in October, and we need to make a decision. So what I look to do is that let's push forward on both alternative paths here, right? And maybe delegate to Robin and us to decide which path we choose. I think we're going to have an issue about if there's 100% NMRA requirement membership. We someone need to check that, and if there's a new member coming or not renewing, what would be the policies there? So there will be a lot of uncertainty with that. If we can have total control of the trailer in our group, I think that would be more comfortable for us long term at least. And if we can do that in either of these options, great. But otherwise, I would prefer to just agree on a price and we own the trailer. We will still participate with the NMRA. I'm still going to be an NMRA member, Chris, and as Chris mentioned, we wanted to do a lot more work together with NMRA.
And if in the future, if you had took that approach, Magnus, in the future you wanted to come back and become a NMRA group, you know, theoretically we could buy it back for what you paid for it, and it would just go full circle and so on. So that's,
yeah,
you're right. That might be a short-term thing. So let me, if the board agrees, I will pursue what that trailer might be worth at a fair market value, and Magnus can go and have a look at the thing, which I think it's still in Roy, isn't it, Ed?
It is in Roy. Yeah, if Magnus wants to go and see it, I'll take him down there and we can look at the trailer. Okay, anytime he wants.
Cool.
But if they
Jack,
buy the trailer, I'll bring it up to Issaquah to finish emptying it.
Yep.
Okay, Jack, you had a comment.
Yeah, real quick, Robin, remember they can rail pass in for 9 months now, which makes that option a lot easier. The other thing to remember is the 3 strikes rule. If they do in fact create 100% group, and that group is a modular group, they're stuck with the members who are not NMRA members cannot participate.
Yep, understood.
So a point of clarification here. I heard Russ say that this was a goal. Is it a goal or a rule somewhere that they have to be 100% in MRA?
No. What Russ meant was our expansion is a goal, but the rule is what Jack talked about.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah, we want to encourage new groups, and certainly we would love to have European enthusiasts be a part of the 4th Division if that can work out, but it needs to be 100%. That's the rule of the NMRA. But okay, so why don't we turn it back to Robin? It's just FYI, and you go ahead and.
And if I need a decision needs to be made quickly, if as Magnus says they want this thing, I think you should go to the Chehalis show in about a month's time. We with the board can discuss that via email, like we did about the CD that I actually set up. So yeah, it's easy enough.
So the preliminary position would be that the group wants to buy it at a market price that you're going to work out in Magnus and so on, and you'll let the board know, and we'll vote on that.
That's what I was proposing to do.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Kurt, you had a comment?
Chris, did you say that the ERE is already an NMRA SIG?
That's correct. We are a SIG of NMRA. ETE as a national organization is a SIG of NMRA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ETE nationally. We have about maybe 500-600 members, and been a SIG since it was founded 50 years ago, and we have a 50-year anniversary this year for ETE.
I think we're up to 700 or 750 members nationwide now. It's growing quickly. So.
Okay. All right.
That's it for me. Thank you for listening through a lot. And by the way, I did realize, Alex, on my reports, I accidentally put last year's balance sheet in the report I sent you. So I'll correct that and send you a corrected treasurer's report with the right financial information in it.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I need to get on the road to a trip, but I wanted to thank you very much to sit in on this, and I look forward to hopefully doing this again and participating with NMRA.
Yeah, you're always welcome to the board meetings and anything we participate in, and welcome to the NMRA, Chris.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay, guys. Membership. Byron doesn't seem to be with us. He's working on trying to get this mentoring thing going, but I haven't heard from him specifically. The PNR is working on developing another portion of this Pathfinder program. You guys know what this is the overall overarching name for integrating new members into divisional activities and member retention, basically. They are planning to create, I think primarily through PNR resources, a Zoom program that would be geared towards new members and learning new things and new member integration, so that this would be something somebody joins and they could participate in this. I get of course, anybody could. I'll let you know when I find out more details, but we're having a PNR board meeting, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So, okay, let's go ahead. Let me see, layout tours, Lee.
Okay, so we've layout tours. We've begun our layout tours for the fall season, but one of the challenges that we're having is finding new people to give layout tours. And we've been doing this for several years. Started in COVID, doing this virtually. I think it's been tremendously successful, but a lot of people have already given a tour. So as you've seen in the more recent, say in the last year, we've reached out beyond the 4th Division to have people participate. And I think that's been very well received. Our last layout tour was by Mike Davis, a Santa Fe modeler from back east. And I think that was well received by the group. So I've reached out to several folks, Burr and to Bill and some others. And of course, Burr and I are still tag teaming this. We've got some names that we want to try to get names from 4D that we would like to give tours. But now we're getting to the folks, I think, that are maybe have a little fear of giving public presentations or that sort of thing. It's a little bit more work to twist their arm to give a tour. And I think they overthink perhaps just how much effort is involved and what we're looking for. But we'll work with, Burr and I will work with some of the folks that we've been looking to. But if any of you have ideas of people that haven't given a tour, or that people who are doing something. So for example, I heard Greg Wright has been working on his outdoor layout, and that might be a candidate for tours. It'd be a new piece there. But if you all have any ideas of people in 4D or beyond 4D who might be encouraged to give a layout tour, let me and Burr know. So I think, the bottom line here is we're stronger as a group, and I don't know that many people, but together with the folks that are on the call here today, about 15 people or 14 now, I think our net can be cast much broader and maybe pull some new blood into the 4D. And if, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but I think the 4D P&R group is perhaps unique here in that I don't see other divisions around the country doing this. So we're kind of a leader, I think, in the country. So that means that our pool can be much bigger. And I see Magnus has his hand up. Magnus?
Yeah, I have two suggestions here. First, in our region, there are some fantastic European layouts being built. And I've talked to two of those layout owners, and they would both be happy to give a layout tour for NMRA. Second proposal is, I think doing a layout tour for a modular group would be interesting to actually show how does a modular group's layout look like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the NTRAC group did that, and I think the Fremo group has done that, but I don't know about the HO modular group or other groups. But Magnus, thank you. That's really what Lee is asking us. Lee, I think I have lined up the Corvallis Model Railroad Club that I have a friend who and I visited. It has a wonderful layout and a great backstory to that for December.
For December. Okay.
Yeah, December, we're not doing November, and you're still working on October, right?
October's the one that we really need somebody to fill in. November, I've been working on well, Chuck Lee and
Warner Schwarner.
I had the name written down, but anyway, I'm working on someone here. So yeah, Jack.
Yeah, have you had any success with Bremerton Northern? Because they have both an HO and an N scale layout over here.
Yeah, I don't know who to contact there.
All right, I'll tell you
or-
what, I will contact them and get back to you.
Okay, that sounds great. This is exactly what we're looking for here.
Great.
Is kind of names of two names and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So
Lee, we don't have the November meeting because it falls right on top of the Boeing swap meet.
okay, good to know. Good
So
to know.
yeah, so
Okay.
October, December, and then after the first year. Okay, anything else? I skipped. Sorry. Anything else, Lee?
No, I think that covers the meat of
Okay.
it. So you know
Sorry,
where
I
we are.
skipped you, Jack. Let's go back to education.
Okay, very quickly, the survey that was done is out to all of the clinic heads. I've received no feedback. I'm going to run I'm doing a second cut on the clinics we currently have completed or are available. And I will go out to each one of the clinicians to find out if they're still available to provide those clinics, and then I'll get that information out. I will in the near future send another questionnaire out that will read something like, the world is coming to an end. You only have one clinic left. What will it be? And see if I can get
That's your
some
normal
response from them.
transmission, right?
Yeah. The other thing, talking about hybrid clinics, last time around, we talked about it. I will be interested to find out what the feeling Bob and who was it? Kurt get with respect to putting together a hybrid, because we'd like to establish, I think, a standard process for the entire division. And that may involve procurement of some additional equipment, and probably laptops may be part of it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jack. David, AP. David with us?
Yeah, he's muted though.
David?
There he
There we
is.
go.
I'm here. I just had to unmute.
Right.
I really don't have anything to report because actually Jack has been handling my stuff while I've been dealing with my mother's estate. So I'm going to get back into the swing of things since most of the paperwork and stuff has been completed with her stuff. So yeah, once I get in touch with Jack and see what he has been up to and any of the people he's contacted. The one thing though I do need to do is get hold of the individual that handles all the new people that come into the 4D, so I can contact them and just see if they're interested in participating in an MMR program, if they have a layout, to see if I can, get a Golden Spike award for that. So there's a few things I'm kicking around.
And that's Byron, as I copied you on that email yesterday. So if you have any questions, come back to me. But Byron Osborne is the guy. He gets this report. We get this report from PNR every month, and he's got that list of new members.
Bill?
Yes, Jack.
Just to fill in behind David. First, with respect to that list, is David not receiving a complete list of the 4th Division, including new members? If he's not, he needs it. He has to have it.
Nope.
Okay. You want me to send you, David?
No, I'm not.
It's the only way he can verify membership before he submits things up the line.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, David.
Okay, a couple of things. First is, this is really geared towards the modular group guys. Bremerton Northern as a club has 31 active members. Of those, 23 now have earned volunteer. It's a simple process. It just requires bookkeeping by some individual. And it really helps considerably if somebody at the modular group level will do that and take care of it and get it to the guys. I have some questions about volunteers. I've got a list of about 20 guys that I think should have volunteer, and the records indicate they do not. And my intent, with David's permission, is I'm going to contact each one of them, find out if they do or do not, see if we need to correct the records. And if not, we'll proceed to figure out how to get them volunteer.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Yeah, if you guys looked at the NMRA magazine this month, there's a lot of listings on 4th Division, ENRN 4th Division guys gaining new stuff in the achievement program. So, okay, thank you, David. Let's start with.
Can I just add one quick thing, Bill? I forgot to mention
Rob.
my treasurer's report, and it's relevant here. I did actually last week receive the NMRA reimbursement check. So $400 came from PNR to NMRA, the second one this calendar year. So it was $400, which I guess represents 400 members, because it's $1 per person, the exact same as what we got. So I just wanted to mention that from a membership point of view.
Yeah, that's twice a year, and so that's the second. I assume that's the second one for last year, right?
It's kind of confusing. Our financial year is, from July through to June, and I don't know how the PNR does it.
I think theirs is a calendar year, but
yeah, I think it is. So it's the second one this calendar year.
Yeah.
The first one for our new fiscal year.
All right.
So whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Ed, you want to bring us up to date on high railers?
Sure. The high railers. First, thank you for sending me a list of all 4D members. I managed to go through our list and find that over the pandemic, several of our members had let their membership lapse in membership in NMRA. So we've corrected that. That was a good thing. We're slowly emptying the red trailer. What's holding us back is the distance of the trailer from where I am, 60 miles away. So good. We did, at the beginning of this month, we went to Kelso for a train show. It was a one-day show. It's a bit far to go for a one-day show, but it was very good. It was a good show. Lots of people turned up. It was in the Kelso Mall, which is on hard times. We were located in the former Macy's store. So
Wow.
Security was good because, at nighttime, the whole thing is closed off and locked up. So that was good. Going forward, they're going to have 2 shows a year, one in May, one in September. Both will be 2-day shows, and we put our names down for that, or those. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to go to Linden. I've figured out what the layout's going to be. It's going to have 27 modules in it. And we're going to have an L-shaped layout for the first time for a number of years, hopefully. Okay. So, and then we hope to be going to Maple Valley. I've heard from Steve of Maple Valley. He wants to know if we're interested. And we said yes, but I haven't heard anything more from him. I need to contact him to decide what size of layout we're going to have. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Okay. Who's gonna let's Kurt, you want to speak for N-Track? 40
Sure, I
N-Track?
can do that, and Dennis can leap in with me.
Sorry, and Dennis. Great.
We had our annual meeting last month, and I've sort of taken over being the cattle prod person to make sure that everybody is a member of the NMRA, and have sent out a couple of emails saying if you are not an active member by the end of the Linden show, your name will be removed from the club roster. And Al's been tracking that as well. And lo and behold, I had 3 people who immediately renewed their NMRA membership. So obviously, baseball bats work.
Yeah.
We're going to be going to Linden, and Maple Valley will follow a week later with that. We've got a good turnout of people going to Linden, and we're going to be running operations using ModuOps up there. Ed, if I can get from you the point of contact for Kelso so that we can reach out to them and maybe we can get on their list of layouts
Sure.
as well going forward.
Okay, we'll do.
And that's about all we've got going. We normally do 7 shows a week or 7 shows a year. We will be going to the Tacoma History Museum for the Christmas show.
Have you heard
Dennis?
from them, Kurt?
I have not heard from them yet. I was
Okay.
going to reach out to them here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
They're in the middle of a
for the
major
Boeing Club.
Yeah, they're in the middle of a major redo of the main floor of the museum.
Oh, right.
And so I've sort of stayed away from Steve because I know he's up to his eyeballs.
Okay. All right, thank you. HO My Dealer Group.
Yes, hi, greetings. We've been very busy this summer working on the renovation, the delayed renovations that we had, and made good progress. About 50% of that program is completed, not all reimbursed at this point, and I'll work on that, Robin. You should see some paperwork coming forthwith. We are signed into the Linden Show. We are signed up for Maple Valley. We are in line for the museum, but as indicated earlier, Steve is up to his eyeballs, is it? So we're not bugging him. He'll get a hold of us in due course, and we'll get that job done as well. We just finished an annual review of membership NMRA, and those who didn't renew were contacted. Many of them have dropped away because they're snowbirds and they're not around during the modular season. So we've tidied that up, and we now have 100% of active members enrolled in NMRA. That's it for now.
Great news. Thank you for following up on that. Okay, HO Fremo Group. I don't see anybody. Bremerton Northern. Jack, you want to?
Yeah.
Good. So not.
We continue to work on the layout and build things, and the thing that's of most significance right now is there is a switching portion of the layout being added specifically to let them do some sort of operations. Until that comes into being, they're stuck with basically running around in circles in public show mode. In addition, there is a significant effort being continued to work on AP. You probably have seen and was up a call for volunteer or people who would like to work on dispatcher to come play with us on Sundays when we restart. And we're working on others. We just completed one scenery eval and submitted that. So the club is up, it's working hard, and they're doing well. I have good visitors from mall traffic.
Great. All right, thanks, Jack. Let's talk for a second about ON30 Group. Alan Murray sent out a note this morning to a response to something Robin sent out, that the PNW ON30 Minor Group's not a sponsored club. Russ, I was looking back at the minutes, and they sort of started appearing during the pandemic. I frankly don't recall, is this group a sponsored group, or is it an interest to it? What is it exactly?
Well, they've participated with us in a number of shows over time.
Okay.
But I don't think they're formally a member group.
Okay. All right. So yeah,
That's good. That's good to know, because I've always had them on the budget and the financial reports, but they've never done anything.
I don't think there's
financially.
ever been any formal action.
Okay. So I'll
Um,
remove them from our reports. It's just
Yeah,
confusing.
why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Then, I mean, obviously they can certainly participate with us, but it's not a sponsored club, so we won't, you know, if
Well,
somebody wants to come.
one of the groups to contact would be the Moose Creek group, which is a formal group, very active.
Yeah.
And they've done some national shows.
Is it 100% NMRA?
I don't know that, but
Okay.
they've been around a long time, and it's an opportunity to expand us.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you offline about that, Russ. Okay, clinics. Anyone want to give an update on any of the listed clinics? I know Jack got a lot of info in what's up about that. And most of them, as far as I know, have restarted and are planning something. But I don't see any of the clinic chairs here. Okay.
I'll talk to Bremerton. I'll talk to West Side.
Okay.
Because we were meeting in downtown Bremerton and it was a freebie place to go and it was a nice facility. Unfortunately, a few of the members said that they really didn't want to be driving or walking around in downtown Bremerton in the evening and especially after dark as we get into the year. So we've relocated our clinic to the Kitsap Mall. We had our first meeting there this month. It's a good facility. Robin, please expect to see a request for some monthly rent for that place. It ain't free.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, I'm proud to report that Was Up works because we had a visitor from Spokane come to our last clinic.
Great. Okay. Yeah, that's a terrific tool that Jack has. So, you know, he preaches it correctly. Get him all the stuff that's happening in our division so we can get it out and get it known. All right, let's go on to
Bill.
Anything else on clinics?
Yeah, Bill, I can talk to the Tacoma Clinic.
Good.
And we've been doing, Kevin's still in charge, and we've been doing Zoom clinics. We're trying to set up a hybrid mode. And so Bob Kenworthy and I went down to the Olympia Clinic last night and watched their hybrid so that we could figure out the equipment and how it all worked. We have a location, and that's the community center in my homeowners association in University Place. And we've sent out emails to people saying how many people are interested in doing a hybrid face-to-face. We've gotten, I don't know how many answers Kevin has actually gotten back for a full count, but we've got enough people now that want to do face-to-face. And so, Robin, I'm going to be putting in a request for rental space and a one-time $70 damage deposit that has to go to the homeowners association. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to do it for 6 months. That'll take us through the beginning of the non-modeling period, and see if people want to continue having face-to-faces during the summer months.
Where is your tentative location, Kurt?
It's in University Place.
Right.
So the community center will hold about 50 people. And it's got a big parking lot. It's, you know, it's in a homeowners association, so you don't have to worry about walking city streets or, you know.
So you're going to try to start this in October?
Homeless camps or anything like that. Probably November. I still need to get over and talk to the homeowners association, get everything set up, say that we want to do this every month on the third Thursday, and make sure that everything is set in stone before we start it.
Well, I have a personal interest because I volunteered with Kevin to be a speaker there, and I think November was the date because I couldn't do it in September because I had to work a Mariner game. But I know Kevin will, no doubt. Is Kevin still kind of connected with what you guys are doing?
Oh yeah, he's still the head of the Tacoma
Yeah,
Clinic.
okay.
I just said that, I'm here locally, he's out Hood Canal now. It's easier for me to be in the center of Tacoma and
Right.
try to find a space. And so that's kind of where we are. But he's still going to be in charge of finding clinicians and things.
Okay.
All right, Bill,
Right.
East Side Clinic met last Thursday, and we still meeting virtually. Program was on operations, had a pretty good panel of 3 guys, and we've been running typically 20 guys for a session. We're continuing to meet on the 3rd Thursday, but need to coordinate with Kevin and Kurt about that night. I'm happy to move it to the 4th Thursday if that works for everyone.
Yeah, I think removing conflicts would be good, especially if we're doing this virtually or most of it.
Bob's got his hand up.
Yeah, can you hear and see me now? Where I'm mobile and the phone seems
Yes.
to be
Yes.
cool. Kurt, we can talk later, but we used to be second Thursday. Is there a reason we're looking at going to third?
No, that was my mistake. Second Thursday is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Second Thursday. Okay, thanks. Olympia Clinic, Greg met last night. They're very active. Let's see. You want to say something, Alex?
Yeah, I did. I got an email from Al Carter up in Mount Vernon
Right.
regarding the Mount Vernon Clinic. I think he sent you a copy of it too.
Yes.
They're basically up and running as far as their clinic for the season. They're considering trying a hybrid clinic, and the news is still out on that. As far as later on next spring, they're thinking about going back to having a clinic. I know, for lack of a better word, a clinic fest in May as opposed to a swap meet. So anyway, I just wanted to chime in and say a few words about the Mount Vernon Clinic.
Yeah, I did get, in fact, all of you should have gotten a copy of Al's email Thursday morning that he sent to the board about the Mount Vernon Clinic. They had Dr. Muff, who seems to be the regular and wonderful presenter. So they're very active. That spring issue reminds me, we're going to need to talk at the next meeting about spring meet or not, given that we've got the P&R convention in May of in BC next year, but we can wait till maybe that meeting to do that. Let me see. I've also heard from the famous slug master Rich Blake about the Skagit Valley and Whidbey Island Clinic. They're meeting on the second Wednesday, and I think I forwarded that copy to you all this morning. So anyway, we've got a great group of clinics that continue to be active, growing, trying new technologies, reaching out, that we support, and so that's really part of the lifeblood of this group, along with the modular groups and the other stuff that we do as members. Any other comment on clinics? All right, let's go on to the first item of old business, which is the NMRA convention's submission. Jack, have you or Russ, or have anyone, I have never heard anything back from, is it Alan? I can't even remember his name
Ed
now.
Slintak.
Ed, right, Ed. You sent out a note on about a week ago on what you heard. Have you heard anything further from Ed?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, I have. He talked to me after he had visited the various facilities in Tacoma. He apologized because his schedule got so screwed up.
Yeah,
No, I've not heard anything from him, and I believe, based on my discussion with him and my report, is that the ball's back in our court to finish up with
Great.
with the submission, and the most important thing is getting the 25 names formalized and submitted to him.
yeah. Okay, so this is my thinking board. This is really a key thing we need to move on. We need to finish our submission. There weren't any deal breakers apparently. And I'll send a copy of Jack's email to the board that summarizes basically what he said. We need to finish our submission. And I would propose, I've got 5 individuals in mind that are, most of them are in this meeting, that I'd like to ask offline to be a part of the team to do that. So nobody's volunteering at this point to be the chairperson of the convention. We just need to get our submission put together and ready in the next couple of months to go to the board. I'm assuming, Jack, when we get that ready, we notify the board and then we make some arrangements to have that presented either in person or via Zoom.
Okay, the first things first, Bill. I think we need to get the 25 person list completed
Okay.
and submitted to Ed as soon as we can.
All right.
Following that, we were in discussion with Ed. We set up to present to the board during the winter meeting, and that's in February. And that would be a formal in-person presentation.
Okay. And that's in the headquarters in person, right?
I don't
Tennessee?
know where it may be in Amherst, which will give us more reason to send somebody off to go to it.
Where
But
is Amherst? Oh, up
Amherst
in
is-
Northeast.
yes.
Yeah, we get more volunteers to. I'll go. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I have 2 recommendations for you. First and foremost, 25 people should be easy to come by.
Yep.
If you need some help with that, I'll be more than happy to get the 25 names.
I
Second,
could use
let's
some
get,
help with that. So let's you and I work on that. I think
All
I
right.
agree with you completely.
second, let's get this out of the board and into a committee, so that we
Yep.
don't have to keep bringing this back to the board every time we turn around.
Yep. And that's the committee. Okay, so the committee I would like to suggest is Lee Marsh, Magnus, Russ, Jack, and I had one other person in mind, and Kurt. And all this committee is going to meet separately from the board and work on creating the pieces of fleshing out the, oh, sorry, Robin, what am I thinking? And Robin, that group of 5 or 6, if you all say yes, would agree to meet separately from the board in some fashion and divvy up the work and flesh out all the pieces we've got blocked out from what Robin started in the outline that we started. So let me contact you offline with that summary and you can tell me yes or no. Unless you want to tell me yes now. Don't tell me no now. I don't want to hear no.
Yes.
I only want to hear yes. All right, so I'll proceed with that, and then Jack and I will work on the 25 person list. I think we could probably sit down and create most of those names and check with them. So okay, other comments or anything else we need to do right now? I want to get this going, like next week. Jack's given us the timeline, and then you guys can decide who goes there or how we present it or what. Okay. The other item that I had listed as new business was the storage of 40 materials, and Magnus is here. Have you guys Burr's had some medical issues or something, right? Has gotten resolved?
Well, I don't know about that, but he's fine now. And I think he did talk to someone at NMRA headquarters who's moving to a more central system, and that they said that would be the way to do the backups for. And we had talked to Anton, and he has given us some access to our WordPress installation where we have 1 terabyte, so that would be enough too. But that would be a very manual process to upload. I think we have like 200 videos or so. So I think Burr is pursuing the NMRA headquarter option right now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he told
All
me
right.
he spoke to their new social media person they've hired and had a really positive conversation about going beyond what we need here, but going into the social media strategy. And
Yeah,
that was a
Lucy
great
Dormont.
conversation. Yes. Yeah.
And I think all you were copied for. I can see. It looks like everybody on the board, maybe except for Ed, was copied. I'll send this to the board. So okay, so they're working on that. All right, new business. Swap meet. The Boeing swap meet is being held on November 12th. Is that right? Let me hold on a second. Let me look at my calendar here. The second Saturday, November 11th. Second Saturday. Ooh, it's Veterans Day. Second Saturday, as usual. Doors open at 9:30. 4D has how many tables, Russ?
I have the forms ready to fill out, but I needed to hear from you guys to know how many tables you'd like to have. I have some personal stuff still to sell, but I think it would at least 2 for 4D, maybe 3.
Okay.
And we
And
get
4D
one
should-
complimentary from the Boeing group.
Say that again.
We get one complimentary table.
Oh, that's right. We get a free one.
A free one.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'd recommend we go with an additional 2, $40 each.
So 5 tables total? Or
No,
6
there'll be
tables,
three for us for 4th division.
of which one is free.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll have maybe 2 of my own, which would make a nice spread.
Okay. All right. So you'll submit all of that, and
yes,
and then Robin can reimburse you the $80 for the two of the 3 tables we're paying for.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we want all those together. Typically, they would give us the free table in the green room, but we want all those in the main room.
Right.
Right. Together. Okay.
Yep.
Now,
So
the other
ahead.
part of that is I'd like to get at least 1 additional guy, maybe 2, to help me catalog and price everything ahead of time. And
I will help
because
you.
we'll get some additional donations, I'm sure, between now and then.
Great. I'll help with that.
All right. Thank you.
But we also need I can get in free anyway. So with those tables, we can get 2 people in early to set up and man those tables free of charge.
Right.
Obviously, one is Russ. So one of you presumably would like to go to the swap meet and help and get in early. And it doesn't preclude you from getting in and walking around and seeing what you'd like to buy or whatever. So anybody want to take, why don't you contact Russ if you're the, Russ, I'll be there and I'll take some shifts with you at the table.
All right.
In the morning.
Thank you.
To
keep in
help.
mind there's a Friday night setup.
Yes.
As well.
But that's only typically, it's only to put up the tables and you could bring in your stuff, but they don't typically allow you to put everything out.
Right. But
You
it's
gotta
a
do
way
that
of
early.
avoiding the traffic crush at the beginning.
Yeah, you're ahead of the curve. And then Saturday morning by I think what 7 o'clock or something, you can get in.
It's really early, 7:30.
Yeah, you get in and start unboxing whatever it is you want to display on the table. So if you're interested in any of that, you want to be the other freebie, get a hold of Russ. And particularly get a hold of Russ if you're going to be there and you wouldn't mind taking an hour manning the table, either promoting NMRA 4th Division or selling stuff. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of people, and between 10 and 12, it's crazy. There's lots of action.
All right, I'll post a thing in the Grab Iron about donations and so on to
Yeah,
encourage people to think ahead about it.
Yep. Okay. Let me go back to really didn't give Kurt. Kurt, you mentioned this City of Destiny Festival, which you sent a note to me. It's for the 21st of October. Is there something more than FYI? You want me to let the board know? Where did you want to go with this?
I want to let the board know that we were offered a free table at the first annual City of Destiny Festival on the 21st. It's going to take place at the Foss Waterway Seaport Museum.
Okay.
It's
Is that the same weekend as the Maple Valley show?
No, it's the weekend after, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Maple Valley show is on the third weekend in October.
Yeah, and so is this.
Okay.
Anyway, all right.
Anyway, Bob Kenworthy and I have said that we'd be willing to set up a table. They're waiving the fee for us because of the P&R convention, and we let the Historical Society set up a table at the hotel for a day.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
So if there's somebody who's not going to Maple Valley who would like to spend some time there, I'd be more than willing to talk about the kinds of things that we'd like to put together. Jack?
Yeah, make sure you send me the information.
Yeah.
I'll forward this email to us. This has got everything in it to you, Jack.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I've gone ahead and filled out the application to send to Jennifer or Jessica rather, and we'll work the details. Before you put anything out, Jack, let me double check and make sure that we're going to be able to
I'll wait
do
for
it.
your information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've got to
go
make
ahead
sure
and
that we've
handle
got
that.
at least a couple people there.
All right. Thank you, Kurt. Okay, the last thing that I had was this idea of a board retreat. And we've, which is basically, I think would be, it's a good suggestion. It's an opportunity to kind of talk about, we are really blessed with having a strong financial bank account. What can we do to accomplish the goals of Fourth Division, which is grow membership, retain membership, get people involved in model railroading, that sort of thing. What's the board's pleasure here? What would you like to do? How would you like to do it?
Personally, I think just maybe a 2-hour slot on a Zoom meeting would work. If we want to get together in person somewhere, that's great also. But we're pretty scattered around the Puget Sound, so
yeah,
just something like this on maybe a Saturday morning for a couple of hours, I think with that smaller group looking towards the future, I think.
If we wanted to meet in person, I know it's a little bit of a challenge for us, but it's, to me, it really works good, and maybe do it around lunch.
Yeah.
Which we certainly can afford, some sandwiches or something. We've got a great facility at the archives. If we can clear a date there.
That's they have that great big table in the middle. We can sit around there.
Yeah,
and that
right.
would work well.
We would have to reserve the space, but what do you guys think?
I think that would be great to go up there and get together in person. And there's the sandwich shop right across the street and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's close to me. Is what I also liked.
Yeah, it's like it's half an hour away. Yeah, I know it's quite a drive for Alex, but
yeah.
Why don't
Alex get a flight from Bellingham down there? We'll pick up at Seaport.
We'll pick you up at the airport, Alex.
Yeah.
Let me talk to the archives and get a couple of dates. I'm just thinking maybe something after the first of the year. Of course, travel gets a little dodgy there because it's really busy between now and 1st of December. What do you guys think? Now, after the first of this year, what's your pleasure?
Yeah, I think in the first of the year, there's no desperate urgency for this. So yeah, looking at
Okay.
a Saturday or
Yeah.
Sunday morning. Yeah.
We've got two great train shows in January. In consecutive weekends. We've also got the potential of bad weather. I would rather do it in November.
Okay.
Or December.
That brings
November.
me to a different subject related to dates in November, and that's the next board meeting. We've either got the 18th or the 25th, the week after, 2 weeks after the, maybe could we combine these two and try to do an in-person board meeting on, let's say, the 18th, just pick a number out of the air and devote half an hour to this subject or something? Maybe it doesn't need 2 hours. And we do a board meeting and an in-person discussion on this topic?
Yeah, the 18th looks free for me. That's only 2 months away, so it's not too far away.
How about the rest of you guys? What do you think?
It works.
Okay. You want to do this in person, or would you really rather stay with Zoom? Doesn't matter to me. I'm good either way. I know Alex votes.
I like the idea of doing it in person. I think we'll have a more effective discussion.
Yeah.
And
Lee,
maybe we can
rest of the board, Dennis, Jack, what do you
18th
think?
's good. The 18th's good for me.
Okay.
The 18th is good for me, and it would be fun to see some of you guys in person. I don't know whether you're real people or an AI image.
We're avatars.
Yep.
Yeah. I know Jack is.
Pick a date and I'll figure out how to pack, the cars so I can make the 4-day voyage.
Yeah. Okay, let's make it November 18th at 10 o'clock. And we will devote at least a half an hour somewhere in the meeting, maybe at the beginning. I don't know, but that tends to be your best focus. Bob, do you know what your schedule is, Kenworthy, on the 18th?
That should be fine.
Okay. Let's meet in person. In fact, I think it's maybe kind of good to do this once a year at least. Let's meet in person, and we will add this item on the agenda and give some thought to this. What are areas where we could use additional funding to grow the mission of the 4th Division?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Bill, could I suggest that maybe you put that question out, or allow me to put it out in a WhatsApp and just say,
Sure.
Hey guys, what do you think we ought to be doing?
I think that's a great idea, Jack. Yes,
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that.
Good.
Okay.
And Bill, you'll check if we can get the Northwest Road.
Yeah, I will check right away with I'll think about some backup things if that doesn't work out, but hopefully we can secure that. I don't know offhand of any particular problem, but I'll get a hold of them and see if we can't lock in that location.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Bill, this is Alex. On the 18th of November, I may or may not be able to go because we're planning a trip down to Kansas to be with Tina's family for Thanksgiving. I just realized that the 18th is a Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So that may not.
All right.
If you need, we could have somebody stand in for me as secretary at that point and go ahead with the meeting.
Sure.
Go ahead with the meeting after all, but I most likely won't make it.
Appreciate that heads up, Alex. Let's
If we
plan on the
had
board meeting.
Wi-Fi, could Alex connect in hybridly, with the Zoom?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's traveling on that day or would be free at all, but just an
I
option.
know that you can do that. The Boeing Club does that remote, stuff there at the museum all the time. So Byron
Well,
could
if-
probably set something up to hook other
Yeah,
people up remotely.
Yeah.
I'll happily bring
If
my
you
laptop.
record it, he can always go back and get
That's true.
his notes via the recording.
Yeah, it's much harder to do a hybrid, but we can, you know,
We can try it.
we can certainly do something. We can record it if nothing else, and Alex could summarize it off of that. So,
Yeah.
well, let us know, Alex. In the meantime, I still need to get a hold of them and see if that date is available or the 25th or whatever, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
Just real quick, Larry Sloan normally does a train show at the gift event in Tacoma Dome every year before Christmas.
Okay.
And somebody might want to touch base with him about us participating there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, thank you, board, and you guys have a great weekend, and go Hawks, as they say at Lumen Field.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
Go Hawks.
Thank you all.